303 British. Let me tell you a story. Well, this is a round that's been requested in the past, but have you ever bought something without thinking it through very well? I don't know, maybe it was my subconscious guiding me in a certain direction, but I was at my favorite local gun shop and I came across, well, a bunch of 303 Brit. Let me show you what I've got here. So quite a number of things. Well, first of all, I picked up a set of used dies in 303 Brit. If I'm going to start dealing with this, I guess I should have some dies. So I spent 25 bucks. I thought that was a good price for a set of RCBS dies, and it also came with a Redding full-length, no, I'm sorry, a Redding neck sizing die, a shell holder, and some odds and ends there. As far as this ammo goes, I guess I found a little bit of stuff. Basically, I was in the gun shop and I came across all this old ammo, and I'm a sucker for old ammo. I didn't have anything that shot 303 Brit. This says FN 48. FN is Belgian, I believe. Some of this stuff, this is Iraqi. I'll show you that in a minute. And this stuff says POF 62. So I think that was made in Pakistan. Now, this Iraqi stuff, the head stamp says, well, it's got a picture of a triangle, and then it says 19, has a backwards 3, and then a 1. Well, lucky for you, I have a one-of-a-kind translation. This is Arabic numbers to our numbers, and the reason this is one of a kind is it's written, handwritten on a burrito wrapper. So if we translate with the burrito wrapper, the 1 is a 1, the 9 is a 9, so that's 19, the backwards 3 is a 4, so that's 1941 is when this was made in Iraq. That's pretty neat. Now, taking a look at this Pakistan stuff. Well, let me cut this open because I want to show you something. And while I'm cutting it open, I'll tell you something. 303 Brit. Well, don't really have much experience with it, but did a little bit of homework, and basically this was developed in the late 1800s. It was initially a black powder round, and then they switched to cordite, which is a smokeless propellant, which I'm about to show you once I cut this open. And then in, I think the 60s, they switched to smokeless powders, like we might use today. The round 303 is the same diameter as a 7.62 by 54R bullet, 0.312. And the reason of the 303 is because when you have rifling, you have the grooves in there, and the 303 is measured from the shorter distance, whereas the lands, whereas the 312 is measured from the grooves. Alright, take a look at this. So if you don't know what cordite is, which I had never seen it until I got these, you might be saying, what in the heck is that? Well, that is a smokeless propellant. Pretty cool, huh? I thought so when I first saw it. So I'll show you more about that in just a minute. Here's a book, Small Arms of the World. It's a pretty interesting book. I picked this up at a gun show. I did the AK build recently, and that kind of gave me a bug about building guns. And something that caught my eye is the Bren. The Bren is a light machine gun. Shoots the .303 Brit. It's got a top-fed magazine. And this just really caught my eye, and I would like to eventually build one of these. So I guess I had been thinking about that. I don't know when that will happen, but you know what? I guess it never hurts to have lots of ammo sitting around. It's, you know, old ammo. Who wouldn't love it? But then that brings us here. By the way, how do you like my little wooden stand here? It took me like 4 days to make that. Fancy, huh? So I had all this ammo. I want to build a Bren. It's going to be a while. So I end up going back to the gun shop and saying, oh gee, do you have anything cheap that I can just plink with this .303 with, because now I've got all this ammo and I'm anxious to play with it a little bit. So they pulled this out for me. This is an old Enfield number 4 Mark 1. It's a bolt action, of course. A lot of you know what this is. Personally, I've never held one until I picked up this one. Interesting rifle. I really like it. You know, it's been modified over the years, unfortunately. Somebody up here, they cut the wood off up front, kind of butchered it. But for the price, you know, I paid $100 and something for it, and I shot it the other day and seemed to work fine. Interesting, it says U.S. property on it. It's got some markings down here. S up here, U.S. property. I think that believes it was made in the U.S. by Savage. But then down here there's a B stamp there, which means Birmingham Small Arms in the UK. And it says England stamped right there. So I think this has been around the block probably a few times, been reworked. It's kind of a hodgepodge, but you know what? It's a neat looking rifle. It's probably got some stories to tell, and I love it. It was a joy to shoot. The .303 round is very comfortable. It seems to be milder than 7.62 by 54R, at least in my opinion. And the ones that I shot were the cordite loaded rounds, and I loved it. It was fantastic. Love the smell too. This cordite is pretty neat stuff. You can see that in separate strands it burns pretty slowly, but then again, smokeless powders do the same thing. Essentially, I guess it was an interim smokeless propellant. You know, it was used after black powder and before smokeless powder. And I fired some of this the other day, and it fired fantastic. It's got a very interesting odor to it. And you can see here in a bunch it really flares up. And now we have toast. Anyhow, I just wanted to share that with you. I look forward to doing more with the .303 Brit. Thanks for watching. Be safe.